Hi everyone.
I hope you are enjoying the last few weeks of summer here. I'm really excited today because I'm chatting and catching up with Anaïs, who for me, and I know we'll kind of get what you feel, but for me, you've been so instrumental in like the early days of like starting the team and building and getting it off the ground. Anaïs is like the most amazing team leader on the planet. She's so great with the young agents. And why I wanted to talk to her today specifically is because she's amazing at balancing. Maybe some of this is effort, maybe some of this is just because you have to, but she's really good at balancing her personal life with her business life, and I just think that's such a big topic for agents these days. So welcome, Anaïs.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Chatting, sharing some wine together.
Yes. Cheers. Yeah. So Anaïs, I guess like a lot of the stuff, I mean, we worked together for a long time now, like a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like early days, Kiteke.ca from the ground up. Like early days stuff. OG, yes. And you, I mean, we've watched you be so good at a lot of elements in your business, so good at accountability. I don't know what it feels like from the inside, but from the outside looking in, you are one of the most organized realtors I've ever met, which is like, how do you do that? How do you do that? So let's maybe talk about that, like organization, you know, balancing personal life with your career. How do you do that?
Well, I think one of the biggest keys is living by your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use. I think that keeps you accountable for your time and time blocking, which we talk about a lot with new agents, is making sure that you're time blocking all of the things, your high producing activities, to make sure that you have a successful business.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes we talk about balance in different ways, and I think we have a different idea of work-life balance than maybe the average person.
Yeah, that's true.
And kind of shifting my mind and shifting gears in that has really, I think, made me more successful, and also made me really appreciate the time that I have with my family, or before I had my family, just friends or whatever personal things that I wanted to do.
I know that like one of the big things for you, even your first year when we started working together, was like when you were away, you were away. Like nobody could find you. Like, you were on a boat in the middle of the ocean in Panama when you were away. There was no like, I'm working and I'm vacationing. Like it was like, I'm working and I'm gonna rock it while I'm here working, but then when I'm gone, I'm not gonna feel any guilt about it, and I'm gonna go.
Yeah, which I think is so important, even just for like a random day. Like if you're taking a Sunday off where you're not working, don't feel guilty about not working, and just enjoy that time. And then when you are working, be 100% there. But back to organization, you also have to be organized about your holiday, because you still want your clients to be happy with you when you come home, and you still want those clients to be serviced. Which obviously being on the team makes it 100 times easier, because we have that, you know, admin support and also just support from other team members while you're away. So it makes it possible.
Totally. Yeah, that's a really good point. And so like, what would you say to an agent that's not on the team if like, you know, so yes, there's one dynamic of like being on a team, and obviously then that comes with a whole level of support. And I guess this is actually even maybe a two-part question, because it's like, what support should you be expecting from your team if you are on a team is kind of like one part. And then if you're not on a team but you still want to have a life somehow, how do you balance that, right?
Yeah, so I mean, on a team, I think what we have on our team, we have an amazing culture, and we all help each other out. So, I mean, depending on the situation, we all have different agreements with whoever you partner up with on the team. Okay, you're going to take these clients, and then when they go on holidays, you're going to take their clients. Maybe you decide that you're not even going to pay each other commission, or maybe you are. And I think that making sure that you have good relationship with that person is the key in figuring that out. But really, just making sure that your clients are serviced properly, and you have to enjoy the people you work with and trust them that they're going to take care of your people, right? And then obviously on our team, you want to have admin support on the team too, because they take care of so much and help with a lot. So
yes,
sometimes Yeah, totally, right? You might not even need somebody else, another agent really. If you're just needing a little bit of admin support, you might not even need another agent, depending on how long your holiday is. And if you're on your own, I would say find another agent that you get along with, that you can partner up with, and decide on, I'm taking this holiday, this is the time that I need off. Would you take my clients and I'm going to pay you a referral fee or whatever you decide on. But once again, make sure that it's someone that you trust with your clients, that aren't going to
and that has like the same core values as you, that because I've had that experience where I've like left my clients with another agent and I'm like, they advised you to do what now? And you're like, I'm getting on the plane, I'm coming home, you cannot choose. So making sure that they're going to treat your clients, I think, like the way you would treat your clients is important.
Which is why if you go with somebody who's in your same kind of like group or mastermind or team, it really, you have the same core values because you're already in the same organization or whatnot. So I think that that's a good route to go. And just working together is so key, whether you're on a team or you're solo.
I think that's a really important point. So there's like 1,000 things running through my mind when you say this, because I know how you operate, and I just really want to make sure that you guys understand how Anaïs operates. So yes, the Google Calendar, living by that. When you say that, that kind of makes me think of like Gary Keller's book, 2 Millionaire Real Estate Agent, where it's like everything's booked. So I know for myself, like if I've got, I want to take 5 days off, or I want to book a piece of time, you can see that 90 days out, and you can really plan, okay, I'm going to work maybe an extra hour every day. I'm going to do something in my high leverage activities a little bit more for, the 30 days leading up to that, because then I can be really proud of the work I put in. And then, and I know you operate like that. You're like, I earned that 5 days off. That's why you can't call me, because I earned it and you can't reach me. So, but then also being able to see and plan your life, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent really makes that a foundational piece of how you should be building your business.
Totally. And to add to that too, another book that we love is The One Thing, and making sure that you're concentrating on those things, those high leverage activities that are going to produce whatever your goal is, whatever it is, whatever business you're in. You need to be focusing on that one thing that's going to get you there. And when we talk about balance, like you said, sometimes you work more. So sometimes you have to work a little bit more before your holidays, or even say a slower month. So you have a really busy month, so that because you have a month where you have a lot of weddings or personal engagements. So some months are filled with more work and some months are filled with more personal. And to me, that's balance. As long as you're being realistic and you're being upfront with your friends and your family and your people that are supporting you, that right now, hey, I need to concentrate more on work because I have big goals and I really want to like push my career to a new level. And then when it's time to relax and actually relax. Don't be checking your phone every 2 seconds.
Totally. Be present when you're there.
When you're present, and and also I find that when you actually disconnect when you are off, either if that's in the evening or your time off, you will be more productive during the days and your hours that you are working.
Totally, that's a huge point. You've actually, I think, taught me this more than anybody I've ever worked with. Big time.
I mean, and I book my time off in my calendar throughout the day. So, we do bedtime starting at 6 o'clock until 7:30. That's Aiden's dinner, bedtime, playtime, and I like to be present for that. If I have showings or I have something, someone's writing an offer, I mean, obviously, there's exceptions. But otherwise, that's in my calendar, and I don't book anything else during that time. So, to me, balance is picking the important things for you and your business and your goals. And achieving them.
Totally.
And respecting them too.
Yes, and respecting them. And And I think one thing that we've kind of been good at implementing is the erase and replace rule. So it's like your calendar is sacred, but yes, if there's like this thing that comes up that's super important, and then evaluating the hierarchy of like, is this actually an important activity, or am I just doing busy work to feel like I'm important? Because you have to ask yourself that question, like, is this for real, or do I need to do this? But if you absolutely have to erase something, then replace it somewhere else in your calendar, so you're not just constantly not honoring the slots that are there for a reason.
Yeah, 100%.
Into family. So now your little guy is 18 months?
Yeah, year and a half, yeah.
Year and a half.
Crazy.
One of my favorite jokes that Greg makes is that Aiden is the best thing that's ever happened to our business. Because it really forced us to like drill down. It's like there's no choice but making time and making sure that you have time for the little guy, right? Like you had to do that.
Yeah.
And it helped us create some structures that really got dialed in. Like, and together, I remember we sat and we had conversations about how to get that as dialed in, because you still supported your career pretty much throughout the first few months of his life, basically, right? Like as soon as he was born, you were still kind of like, I think you gave it like 90 days and then you rolled into it.
Yeah, so I mean, the day I went into labor, I realized I hadn't completely finished everything that I needed to do. So I was like, I should probably send these emails. So I did that. But I was already technically off because I kind of started like phasing out 2 weeks before his due date. So I was technically already off. But like started my mat leave, which as realtors we don't get because we're self-employed.
No, you totally created a mat leave.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing.
So once again, it was part of that like work-life balance that we're talking about. I worked a lot once I knew I was pregnant. I was like, okay, well I have to line up as many clients. I have to like hit as many contacts as I can.
Yeah.
So that when I do take my time off, I have those people referred out to my teammates and I'm still making an income because I don't get an actual mat leave. So that was my plan and it worked really well, and we didn't know how it was going to work out.
No, we didn't, because we were experimental.
Yeah, we didn't. It was our first time. And I mean, I had most of my business went to Milan because she's amazing and we work really well together, and we just had the same vibe, and it just worked out that she was, starting off her business, and it just worked out really well. And I had full trust in her, and it worked out really well. I didn't even call her. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't check in. Probably more than 90 days. I think Aiden was I got my first, maybe a little, I think it was more like 6 months before I took my first listing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it was
6 months. You're just, you gotta go do the mom thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have a baby. And so it was like you couldn't, like you just had to make sure everything was running in the background.
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't think I ever checked in with Milan. Like, there was never a time where I was like, oh, I better see if she's taking care of this. Like, full trust on her and the team and the admin. Yeah. And so I think it's just so important to surround yourself with people who, like we said, have the same culture and priorities and beliefs as you, so that when you are either taking time off or you're starting your family, you can do that.
Totally. So I think that there's a couple things for like anybody that's wondering. There's like, so it was like, okay, so the one of the key pieces was having someone you trust and you knew could give your clients the service that you would have been giving them.
Yes.
So that's number one, is having that person, that key person. And then the second piece, I think that really kind of served you in that was the systems. Yes. So like you said, you didn't have to check in day to day. because so the client handoff was smooth. Everybody knew the deal. When the client came to you and said, hey, I have a need, I want to buy or sell my property, you had a system where you could get that over to Milan in this case as quickly as possible, and she knew where the process was and how to pick up the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like syncing up and having systemized processes. Because I know for me, if I can trust the system and I can, yes, I want to trust the person that's on the other end of it, but I also want to trust that they're going to pick it up and run with it in a very
100%.
Right?
And those are systems that we've had in place for a little while, so I obviously trusted those. But another thing that was really helpful for me is that the admin knew that I was not working.
Right.
So I wasn't getting bombarded with all of these emails on everything that was going on, because if you have emails come in, the chances of you checking them and working is a lot higher. So I wasn't receiving anything. Milan was really good about not checking in, so I would say, hey, I got reached out by this past clients, they want to buy and sell, here's their information, they know that you're going to be reaching out to them. And that was the extent of work I was doing.
Right.
Other than that, like, I was keeping in touch with those people to make sure that they were serviced, but then as soon as I was passing them on to Milan, I was no longer doing anything.
Perfect.
Because we have the systems in place to take care of that.
Yeah. So then so you have the person, the key person, you have the systems, and then the third piece of that, I guess, would be like the administrative support. So having solid admins. And I think, when I think about someone wondering, how to treat your admin situation, because we're a big fan of like virtual admins as well as local admins, and we've got a mix of both in our businesses. But I think also having somebody in-house, because a lot of times there's a lot of these companies that do like virtual on the fly services for agents, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I really think knowing every point of your system is really well served with having someone in-house.
Yes.
And so whether you're on your own and you're thinking like, what's my key hire, what's my first key hire, having somebody that can execute all the things, help book inspections for your clients, help arrange cleaners if it's a listing that needs to be cleaned for your clients. Like, there's all kinds of things in there that your admins can take care of and take off your plate.
Yeah.
So if you do step in and work, you're only doing your high leverage activity.
Totally, and the same goes for even like, letting in the cleaners, right? Not just booking them, but like letting them into your listing or letting the inspector in or whatever. Those things that you don't actually need to be there for.
Totally, but time wasters.
So that, you're not driving around aimlessly. You're just doing your showings and you're just hitting the phones and getting your contacts. Which really is what I'm doing now, where I've been back full time. I only came back when Aiden was like 13, 14 months.
Oh, right. Yes.
So it was like March when I really started coming back.
Right.
I'm just trying to, I'm just focusing on those high leverage activities, and I'm still supporting the team in that if I feel like I have too much, or if it's a client who is in an area that maybe is a little bit further away from me, and I just know that travel time isn't going to work for my family and the lifestyle that I want right now, I refer them out to my team members, and I'm still supporting junior team members that are coming on the team so that they can get more business. And my clients are still getting serviced properly because those agents have had our training, they still are using all of our systems, and they have support from our admin. And I'm still there for any advice.
Totally. And then everybody's kind of is making
it's
money
a win-win.
Because, it's a win-win.
So
on that note, because a lot of realtors might feel like, I'm not going to give away a client, I'll just drive the extra half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour. It's cool. I want to make the sale. And I think let's unpack that for a second, because we have a very, if you generate, you don't tolerate policy. And so why are you comfortable outsourcing a client when, instead of feeling like that mentality of like, no, I'll just go do extra, even though it's taking away from my life?
I mean, I don't even think of it just as it's taking away from my life. I also think of it as like, I am so proud of the team that we built. I'm so proud of every single team member, and I want to also help support every team member like you did to me when I joined the team. And I feel like I'm now at that level where I can provide that for others, and it's exciting, and I love it, and it's and that gives me a lot of, to me that's just as much growth as just having that extra sale, which in the end it's still my sale. I'm still making a commission from it. Right. I'm just helping others also make money and succeed and learn and grow, which to me is just as fulfilling as as the other part of my career in helping someone buy a house, right? So.
Huge. So I feel like we need to do a whole video on just that. That's a huge topic and so rewarding. And I think a big part of that is also shifting your mindset, right? So you're not in like a scarcity mindset. Yeah. It's like, because we were talking about this even off camera earlier, and we were talking about like, you know, people feeling like, oh, there's so many more agents coming into the industry and now there's less work for everyone. But it's like, no, there's so much abundance. And so like just the ability to pay it forward to like a new person that could use the experience, use the support. It's a mindset shift. It's not just like a, oh God, I gotta sell this house or I'm not gonna, you know, it's a mindset shift.
Yeah, and there's enough work for, there's enough business for everyone if you're willing to work.
Yes.
And having the tools to know how to make your business successful is how you're gonna have enough work.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, one of my favorite things is great, you have all these leads, but if you don't know how to convert them, it doesn't matter how many leads you have, right? So, and and just I really think that we're all coworkers. Doesn't matter what brokerage you're with, what team you're with. We're all coworkers. We're all working together. Yeah. So I think it's exciting when there's new agents, new eager people to join our community. Totally. Let's embrace them instead of
and support them. And teach. Pay it forward.
Exactly, because we were all in that position at one point. So
awesome. Yeah. So I feel like there's been a lot of good information for people, like especially because you're a parent, and I know that I have trouble speaking to that because I'm not a parent yet. But you know, people often feel like, okay, so if you've got these really big responsibilities, how do you shift that? So there's a lot of good tips in that for somebody who's in that stage of their life as well. Because at the end of the day, we all want to balance our personal life with our business life. We don't want to live to work. Is that how the saying goes?
Work to live.
We don't want to live to work. We want to work to live.
Yeah.
I hope that's how it goes. It's not,
you know.
Totally. So that's kind of a big part. So we've talked systems, we've talked people. Is there anything else that you think really you want to leave people with the message of, like, you know, balancing, and maybe even from a parent perspective, like if you are a new parent or you're about to become a new parent, what, you know, and you still want to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key things are, yes, getting organized, living by your calendar, and being realistic and knowing your limits. So it's not worth taking on more than you can handle and losing that client. It makes way more sense for you to refer it out, and them being happy, everyone being happy. And also just communicating with your partners, with your family, with your friends, so that if you're focusing more on your career, they know that, and they're still supportive to you, versus just falling off the face of the earth and then everyone wondering where you are. Just communicate that with them.
Right, that's a good
Tell
point.
them, you know, I'm still here for you, but right now I need to concentrate on my career, and then you take your other times to concentrate on your family or friends or personal life. But just being realistic about what your goals are, what your needs are, and what you need to do to get there.
Totally. Yeah. Because I think coming from you, that means a lot. You were basically able to maintain, what, like 85% of your working income when you were home with baby. And right now, you're in a phase where, you know, when you're back to work is like increasing what you were doing. It's not back to the same level as before. It's like, you know, I'm actively exploding what I was trying to do before.
Yeah. But working less days.
Important points. Yes, important points.
Right? Like you just work the days that you are working, you're 100%, and then the days that I'm with Aiden, it's like, okay, well, I'm with Aiden now. So that's that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's
You're such an inspiration. Thank you so much. And thanks to Aiden for being the best thing that ever happened to our business.
I love that. So good.
Amazing. Let us know if you have any questions. Anaïs is, like I said, she's like the queen of organization, of work-life balance. If you have any questions about that, new parents, anybody that really wants a little help in that area, I would say reach out and talk to Anaïs, because she's been inspirational to all of us.
I'd love to have a chat.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.